Hey, how's it going? From the comfort of my home to yours, I just wanted to check on how you're doing and whether the week is going well for you. I know that it's just a lot happening, isn't there? And it's easy to give in to fear. It's easy to think about how bad things could get or what could go wrong next. And while we think that everybody, and we know and are pretty assured that everybody is making an effort, the government and the medics and every possible organization and authorities making an effort to curb the spread of the virus, you can't help not being fearful, especially when you feel a little body ache or headache or something. When you see some signs, it just everything goes straight to that, almost like as if no other sickness exists anymore. I was just thinking, maybe we need to be a little bit more faith filled. That doesn't mean you don't fear. That doesn't mean we are not cautious. But fear is worse than the virus. And what happens with pandemics and with global threats is it kind of shakes our entire equilibrium, rattles our equilibrium, and we're not able to even hope, think, plan, and we kind of succumb to fear. And that's something we can't afford to do. We're the children of God. We have the promises of God, you know. And the fact of the matter is that even the virus itself, you've seen and you've heard so much about it, is a respiratory attack, and 85% almost have basic symptoms and they get over it. And so the virus itself is not as threatening as the virality of it. The virality of it, and that is the fact that it can go viral, that it can spread. The scope of spreading is what is dangerous, and therefore we are all taking precaution. Um, on our part, as a church, also we've taken precaution and we have cancelled our morning services, and you enjoyed the last online service. I hope you'll give me some feedback on that so that I can improve it as the weeks go by. The main thing I wanted to talk to you was that we have been asked to work from home. I've been working from home for many years, in and out of home, and I've been working from. So I know what a challenge that is, especially when the kids are small. Here are a few thoughts I wanted to give you on working from home. There are a lot of experts, and I'm sure that there's gyan from all over the place. But just as a sign of love and my affection to you and my desire to help you, say something, do something, and connect despite the disconnection socially. Firstly, if you're going to work at home, you need to wake up on time and go to sleep on time. Immediately when we think of home, um, we kind of put ourselves on holiday. We think we go into a weekend mode or a holiday mode. We can't do that when you're working from home. Number one, when you're working from home, you have to have as part of your schedule the wake up time, and decide by what time you need to be dressed and at your workplace or at your desk. The advantage is that you are saving time on transport, which is something that Delhiites where I live really struggle with. And if you're any metropolitan or cosmopolitan city, you would probably have to factor that in. But you gain that time both in the morning and the evening. So we don't want to lose or waste that time over a cup of chai. If you're going to work from home, then you need to get up on time and go to sleep on time, and count the number of hours that you should or hope to put in into solid work. It doesn't have to be 8 hours, but it needs to be solid hours. Now, it depends again about the company that you're working for. Maybe they are monitoring you by login times. Maybe they're monitoring you with cameras. Some are doing that, and maybe they're monitoring you with the amount of input as per deadlines. Either way, your professionality is seen in the militant way you handle time. Working from home, you need to handle time. Working from office, there are other issues, other ways, and you know about that. But at home, you handle time and handle distraction. Those are the two major challenges you have. And if you have or struggle with procrastination, then God help you. Those are the two things. So you get up on time, you go to sleep on time, you set a schedule, and no, you don't work lagatar. You don't work non-stop for 4, 5, 6 hours. You don't. That's not going to work. So what happens is, if you think you're going to constantly work and constantly attend to the home and constantly attend to children and constantly, if you're going to do everything side by side, it's not going to work. Your work will suffer, or your children will suffer, or you will suffer, your health will suffer. So you need to break it, and there needs to be a rhythm to your day. So you start with the early hours of the day and you plan every hour and you think by the hour. So when you sit down to work, only work. When you get up, handle housework or outside chores or things like that. When you're giving time to the children, let it be the break times that you're giving to the children. So create a schedule where if you have kids, then your children are on the same schedule. So when you sit down to work, they sit down to study, and give them enough work and assignments and discipline to be able to sit down at the same time you're sitting down. If you expect them to sit down at home and study non-stop, they're not going to do that. No brain can handle that. No bum can handle that. You need to fix your times of 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and depending on your concentration time, and then go for it. If you're working from home, you also have to ask yourself the question as to what hours of the day are you most productive? Which are your absolute best productive hours, and which are your useless hours in terms of, like, for instance, my eyes are useless after 8 o'clock at night. I cannot read, I cannot think. In fact, I don't even watch television. I just barely watch television because it bothers me, and I get cooked up and caught up in all the thoughts and processes of everybody on TV, and my life steps out of reality into some other reality. So I don't even bother with that. My point is that after a certain time, I'm useless. My eyes are useless. My body is tired or whatever. And then so I use that time for other things. I use the best hours of my day for study or for preparation. And according to what I'm best at, I do that. In fact, for instance, like I exercise and I work in the afternoon. I work out and exercise in the afternoon because my brain is just not fresh enough in the afternoon, so my body goes to work. I go to the gym in the afternoon. I go for walks or whatever I do in the afternoon when those hours, when you're absolutely you're good for nothing otherwise. Otherwise, you're just going to sleep. So number one, wake up in the morning on time, go to sleep on time. Number two, have a scheduled work versus not work or break rhythm. Keep your children on the same rhythm. Number three, have a specific place where you're working. So when you go to that corner, then your children, your family know that you're working, and they are not going to keep annoying you or disturbing you when you're working. They should also know that if you start at 6 o'clock, then at 7 o'clock you're going to be free. So then you say, wait for mama, wait for dada to get free, and then I'll be with you. And when you've done with that, actually be with them. So give proper time, because if children are going to stay home, then you need to give full attention time to the children. I'm speaking to husbands and wives, fathers and mothers. Give full attention to the children, and if you have given the full attention to the children, play with them, take them for a walk, go out to the market, whatever you have to do, then when you get back to work, they will leave you alone. While working from home, don't make the mistake of just putting your children onto a movie or television or games. Don't do that. Love your children enough to order some work for the day, assignments, creative work for the day. Let them be producing rather than taking in. So when they're just taking in entertainment and just being preoccupied so that their mind is distracted and not bothering you, you are probably going to land up with a worse child than you first started out with. So those schedules are very, very important. Number four, do not multitask. Don't multitask. Don't also sit at your desk and also answer the door and also fry an egg in the middle and also try and cook at the same time and keep cooking. If you're going to cook. If you're going to study. If you're going to work or respond to emails, just do that. If you're going to be good at what you do, then you need to focus on one thing, maximum two things at the same point, at the same thing. Like, for instance, if you're going to wash your clothes, then you're waiting for it's automated. So when you're waiting for that's okay. But if it's going to mean you getting up from your desk 100 times or getting up from your workplace, not going to work. Now, obviously, if your children are infants between the age of 0 to 4 or 5, then probably none of this will apply because they do need a little bit more of your attention. But I would think that if your children are fairly grown up and they're on a schedule, you're on a schedule, and you're working from home, it does not have to be as bleak and as frustrating or sarcastically humorous as it's being put out to be. You can stay home. There are thousands of families all across the world whose businesses run from home in the backyard, construction or whatever. There's thousands of families all around the world who run work and play and family all at the same time. Maybe God is allowing this for a purpose. Maybe He needs you to be around your wife a little bit more or around your children a little bit more. You don't know what healing is going to come from this. You don't know. You are not, you and I are not capable of seeing how God can bring blessing out of a mess. We are not good at that. We don't, our mind doesn't work like that. We expect to be just blessed, period. So those are a few things. I'm going to come back to you with more on that, but for the moment, I just wanted to share my mind and heart with you. If you're going to work from home, keep some of these matters in mind. You're drinking lots of water through the day, and you're keeping yourself fresh, and you are breaking your day up into segments of morning, middle day, midday, and evening. And then you're getting your work done and prioritizing a rhythm that will ensure that you are focusing on one thing. When you work, you work. When you emailing, you email. When you cooking, you cook. When you're dealing with the children, you deal with the children. Try and keep it. Is this absolutely impossible? Give it a shot. Don't knock it till you've tried it. All right. So that's a little bit of life stuff that I wanted to talk to you about. Hope it helps.